So I happen to come from a company that was quite enthusiastic about their brand, which is Safaricom. So internally, no matter what gripes they had, when Safaricom goes to a place, they own it. They have a lot of ownership of that brand. They have great pride in their brand, irrespective of what internal dynamics are going on between colleagues and between colleagues and their bosses, which is something that I find quite admirable. And also, they have a very strong work ethic that emanates from the top going down. So, and that was a great experience for me. Coming into Barclays, for me, the greatest experience has actually been, among other things, the networks. So I find myself playing at a level higher than I was in Safaricom. So right now I'm mixing with all types of high-ranking people. I now have networks with the likes of the International Trade Center. These guys operate at the same level with the WTO. I have networks with people like Eva Muraya of the Kenya Association of Women Business Owners. This is a woman who previously, she's a force to reckon with. Now I count Shiro Idaka as one of my friends, in a manner of speaking. Shiro is the lady who was feted by the First Lady of the States. And to be honest, I hadn't thought about it that way. So this is a very eye-opening experience. And it's something I think about, but you're right, I've had it inside the triangle, like, okay, fine, it's expected. But if I'm to say the things that many things have happened for me, exposure and travel. I traveled more in my previous worlds as a journalist and in Safaricom. But the level at which I'm playing now, the networks that I have formed now, and of course a bit of the status. Working with Safaricom gives you quite some status. Working as a senior communications manager at Barclays gives you even higher status. That still surprises me even to now. For me, those two things. And the training, you're very right, Barclays offers a lot of training. Sometimes it's annoying, but in truth, it's annoying when you have to do it, but when I'm doing it, it's not lost on me how much I'm learning, that sometimes I don't even need to learn, but how much more my world on, say, money laundering and things like those that typically are not in my space. I mean, communications, I really don't need to know too much about money laundering. I can always go to the experts. But now I am so much more exposed on those. So that's my Barclays story.
That's so inspiring. Aren't you inspired? Isn't that inspiring? You know what? Please nominate someone to tell us their own story also.
I would say training and networks. Now, in the training space, I worked for Barclays in my earlier years, for 17 years, and the training I got made me be poached by a competitor.
And you went?
Of course. Social benefit, and I've had it that we are actually a training ground for the competition. Whenever they want good talent, they just come pick and take off. Now for the networking benefit is where I got to know a lot of customers. You know, when you're doing relationship management, for example, you can interact like she's into very many high-flying Kenyans. And at one point, I remember one of these customers actually approaching me, and they wanted to appoint a person to run in their finance board in that other place, and he had actually some 10 people and wanted me, but I couldn't leave because I had already now come back again to Barclays Bank. So such are really good moments that can elevate one person, help or motivate an individual to really know that the social benefits are great and you can't take them for granted. I was working those handjobs, and smaller banks will come talking to me, and I actually remember telling myself that I can only work with Barclays, World Banks, you know, after Stanchart, it will be Barclays, it will be World Bank, you know, where I was. So for me, it was actually, I inspired actually to work for Barclays. And then I come in and I found fantastic, over the experience I had in 20 years. I never experienced where you actually get an opportunity, you get a trip all the way to Cape Town, paid for by Barclays. That was amazing. It knew me. Recently, I met somebody
I know I can't afford it. And how much more do you want to work for? How many more years? So to come and work for us. Wow. I was like, really? Waiting for the time to come back for you? That was just amazing. So I think this is amazing.
Please, can you give me a job?
For me personally, if I look at it, if I start from an individual point, from what we're calling monetary support and etc., there's been a great progress because I joined Barclays straight from university. And you can imagine if I joined Barclays straight from university, I had nothing. But at least now I can count what I have in terms of assets. Then after that, there's been the exposure in terms of travel. I've been fortunate to work in 3 or 4 countries, which is quite fortunate to have networks there. Then the interesting thing is that even as I've continued to grow, somewhere along the way is that because of Barclays, I've been able to appreciate life, and somehow I've also been able to appreciate that there could be some God out there who is overseeing things and continues to bless us. So that's how I see my story.
But isn't it amazing that Barclays is turning people to God? Mamma mia! Wow! Isn't that something? That's so inspiring.
It's a very prayerful business, by the way.
You better be. Tell us your Barclays story.
There are very many stories here, but just talk about one. Where Barclays has helped me to work for many organizations. In one organization. So when Barclays being the organization it is, big, mighty, has got departments and functions which are almost like a different organization. So when I say that Barclays has helped me to work in many organizations that have won, I mean that I've had a chance to work in many of those functions and not just in the country, but in the country. I've worked in a place like India where I think people don't know if you are somebody who like to work in India, they will be what are we going in India. So there is that testimony, and what makes me feel that I've had a great opportunity and exposure than many other people perhaps working in their organizations.
Awesome. Isn't this inspiring? Yes.
Barclays has made me today. One, through trainings. Then I had an opportunity. They used to run a program where when you're in the talent, they'll take you, you go through a free MBA program. So I had that opportunity. So it's something that really was an eye-opener for me. I have traveled thanks to Barclays. I have had opportunities to dine with kings. Today I can call our former president and just have tea with him. Something of Barclays, because CSS, anybody in our who are clientele, my portfolio, really I can, it's through Barclays that I'm meeting them. If I wasn't working for Barclays, I would do them
Impact that Barclays has had is going through a leadership program, which I can say turned my life, I think, completely around, and has given me the opportunity to grow in my career. But on a very personal note for me, I've had 3 children in Barclays, while I'm in Barclays. And the environment that this organization has created for working mothers has been exceptional. I don't think I would compare it with any other organization.
I was dealing with a troubled pregnancy. And my boss and his boss said, Christine, you work so hard, but take time off. And I took time off. and I stayed out for months. And Barclays paid me.
And it says that the world is a book. And those that do not travel read only one page. I thank God for Barclays because I have been given an opportunity to travel to many countries. I've been given an opportunity to do a job that I don't just get a pay, but a job that I touch lives. So to me it's more of a vocation than a job.
For me it's about how to go out of my comfortable zone as an employee and learner in Barclays. I ended up my college last year and then soon after that I come to Kenya. So it's almost 1 year anniversary. As for me to go out of my comfortable zone, I will conclude it in 2 points. First is how to be compatible with this culture. Because we have a saying in my Chinese ghetto that we Chinese cannot work with Kenyans, we cannot work with Africans. We cannot have a superiority that we are yellow people. We are under white people, but we are more superior. We're superior than black people, which is so wrong. And the way we think about working with Africans, the stereotype is that they're slow, they don't deliver things, and they're not trustworthy. Those are the words that I hear from my Chinese fellows in my community. But then when working here in Barclays, I find out my strength and my weakness. My weakness is so obvious that my language is not, my speaking and my ability to express is not as free, as fluent as my colleagues around me, because we don't have English environment at all in China. I mean, not at all, but official language is Chinese, is Mandarin. So for a lot of times in the meeting, I got so frustrated. But the good thing is that after that, I always have my colleagues who can explain to me, who are so patient to me. So this is the point that I feel like language is not a barrier, culture is not a barrier, tribalism and all stuff is not a barrier to me. And the second point is, as an entry-level learner, I always feel like I am in some way confined to a lot of things that I can get access to. For example, this morning, I told my colleague that let's go for this brand love session. And she told me, no, we're interns, we're not supposed to go. I said, no, we got an invitation, we should go. She said, no. I said, well, if you want to go, you can go. If you don't want to go, you can just stay here. That's what I told my colleague. So for me, Barclays doesn't really restrict my desire to achieve more things I want to learn from my colleagues. So as long as I want to learn, I always ask my managers, the people around me from different divisions, and I can learn so much.
I joined Barclays in February, and it's been quite a journey. I've met most of you guys here, worked with most of you guys, but the most, I think one of the biggest blessings was, one of you mentioned Eva Muraya. I met Eva Muraya here, and then she onboarded me to a prayer group called Plugin in Ruby Chapel. So she's my prayer partner. I've graduated now, yeah. But yes, so I met her and we used to talk a lot about Barclays, and she used to tell me how she comes here to train people. So I never used to take this training seriously because I thought interns were only supposed to be there. But I want to thank my team, that's marketing, and everybody else around us, because they made us believe that we don't, as an intern, we usually call them KYMs. We're not KYMs, we're also important in this company. I've had the privilege of... Alright, so I've had opportunities to work with a lot of branch managers here, prestige managers like Kobosi. We're working on something together, and a couple of people, you all know, yeah. So I want to say that this company is a blessing, and I'm just straight from university straight into Barclays also like him, and I wish I would also travel one day like him. But I keep praying, and I thank all of you guys for being very good mentors and not discriminating anybody, and always being acceptable and accepting people to come into the body.
I became a national champion in sports because of the sponsorship that actually Barclays had.
Wow.
Sponsoring sport. So hockey, we played out in the Africa Championship, things that we never otherwise happen. So I think it doesn't happen as much, but that's on the social side. Wow.
My Barclays story would be like 30 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having like quite been around, And as Kara says, I met my spouse. And I also had an opportunity, I think, to work in all departments except Treasury. I've worked in HR, name it. I've worked in many branches. So if it is monetary support, I mean, that has been there, status. Networks, I've had opportunities to travel. Barclays has taken me and 3 other colleagues on a road trip from Europe down to France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, all as an appreciation of community work, training. I've done local, international. I think today if I look at the industry, whether it's in the government or the corporate world, I think in almost every organization I know a network that I've either met through Barclays or customer events. I mean, you can pick up a phone and call and get things done. If it's about mentorship, I've gone through the mentorship within Barclays. I've met friends. I meet people who say, oh, you got me a job. I don't even remember because probably somebody came, I called somebody somewhere and sent somebody. So it's I think when you say the Barclays story, as people say, what stories? It's a story if people sat down to say, actually, if Brandler is the Barclays story, it's a long story. It's a story. It has its downs sometimes, but I guess it is a story of networks, opportunities. I've gone with customers to China, Israel, I mean, name it. And I guess also Barclays has given me the opportunity, all the offices I've worked in, to try things. So when you talk about that box, if I go to my boss and I want to try things, I'm given a leeway to try things. It's empowered me. I feel empowered. I don't think there's anything I would want to do and I don't get to the networks and get it done. So it's a brand. And one more thing, Barclays educated my children actually. I just used to bring the report forms and they'll give me a check to pay school fees. Because we were Barclays, I got a call from Titus Nekuni of Kenya Airways. And he told me, do whatever you can, get people to the airport. I'll have a plane there to carry Barclays.
Wow. We are lifting people everywhere.
So we got 50,000 airtime. I got 50,000 airtime to give to everybody who was in trouble, so that we can be able to communicate. We got choppers, open check to use whatever finances we need to get people to the airport, get security. We got, when we go to the airport, they were encouraged a lady from KCB who had just gotten a baby, and another one from KREP who was in labor.
Wow.
Nobody had made arrangements for them. So we carried all the staff who are at risk, their families, their house girls, anybody, and customers. A plane came from Entebbe, a huge plane, and everybody was like, that's for Barclays.
Oh, wow.
I think that was great. We got choppers going to get people who are in places that, interior. And we got one guy, a lead generator, who was discovered, and his stomach had he had a bullet lodged in, and he was discovered days later. We got flying doctor to come pick that guy. Got him, the intestines were away from the body, but they got all that back, and he's still working in Everett now.
This fun story started in 2010. I was fresh from university. I was doing my internship. And then on to 2011 when I got confirmed. During that time, I lost my mom, and I was barely 5 months there. And that's where my Chase Bank love story started. So it's a love story. So I remember I was barely 5 months old. I wasn't expecting anybody to come through for me, but the CEO at that time actually came for that. And they walked with me. Somebody I hadn't even met, but showed up for my mom's funeral. They walked with me, gave me time off, and for me that was a deal maker for me. So from then I got confirmed, and As an intern, I remember Eugene and Candy were talking about being interns and the way you're the KYM. For me, I was put in a committee for a women's product. As early as that, I was very confirmed, and what worked, and through that I grew from an intern to the position I was when I was leaving. I was a manager, and my experience has been amazing in the sense that you can literally walk into the MD's office, share your idea, and with no doubt it will be implemented. And that's the culture that they sort of inculcated in the organization. So it started from strategy level. Right from the top, it was purely open door. The MD sat at the corner somewhere, and this is different in different organizations, but this is to mean that it was purely open plan. You could share your ideas, and your ideas actually got implemented. There was that freedom of expression, freedom of ideas, and that came down to the lowest level, even to the workers. And to Anne's point of dress code, initially when I joined the bank, and initially when everybody joined, there was that perception of, oh, we have to wear suits, we have to dress in a certain way. I'm sure you've all heard about it. But by the time you go through that culture training and you get into the Chase culture, you actually were proud to wear those suits and those hats, because it meant way more than just dress code. It was the way of life, the way, and what I was looking for when I was moving was that family orientation. And now that comes to my Barclays story, my 1 month story. For me, you spend so much time with your colleagues. 90% of your time is spent with your colleagues. You might as well be friends with these people, get to know these people better. And the best ideas don't come when you're sitting in the office. They come when you're doing all those other things you're doing with your colleagues outside of your work environment. So for me, that was very important. A family culture, a culture that actually allows you to express yourself without being limited. And Chess Bank was more domestic, multi-domestic, so I got opportunities to grow locally. What now Barclays is teaching me is that transnational aspect of it, because you deal with stakeholders here and you deal with stakeholders outside of the country. So that exposure as well is what I was looking for, so to grow to the next level. So for me, and hearing your stories today sort of affirms the decision that I made to move, because it's that family aspect of it, there's the exposure aspect of it, which I was looking for. But when I joined, I met a lot of the CMCs and business heads. And the one thing they asked was, across both was, so what should you say about Chase? What is the one thing that you would say about Chase in one word? And for me, Chase was home. And I feel as I grow in Barclays, I will be able to say that Barclays is really home.
My Barclays story started in 2000. Yeah, it's about 12 years. And when I joined Barclays, I was a BA4.
What?
Yes. Today I'm a director of the bank. And I always look back and say, how was my journey? I started in audit, moved from audit, went to compliance to finance. And I always remember one of the big culture that Barclays has, which is to say, I will give an opportunity to employees in the first instance. And the process is so transparent that you only have yourself to blame. So I remember when I actually I skipped one of the grades. I moved from BA4 to B4. So when I went for the interview, I remember very well the then head of audit moved from Barclays and went to one of the competing ones. And because of the criticality of the role, we were told it needs to be both internal and external process. So they're not just thinking about internal people, but will also compete with the external people. And I remember going for the interview, and the way you sit outside, I noticed I had quite a number of senior managers, people who employed me when I started first working. That was in KPMG. So I was talking about senior managers who are coming from the same job. And after doing a series of interviews, I remember at the end of that day, the then hiring manager came out and said, you know, you are the most successful, but I don't know if you make it for the next step. And the next step really is the board meeting. And then they but then the one that really leads us to mind when I was here. He had been in Barclays for quite some time. And all the questions he asked, I was actually, disadvantaged. So he started by saying, "Are you married?" I said, "No." No, it started with, "How many children do you have?" I said, "I don't have any children." "Are you married?" I said, "No." "Have you led a team?" I said, "No." Everything was on the negatives. So it reached a point he said, "I have seen you've done your journey. I've seen all these notes and you've made it to this level. So I will just put you in an active capacity for 6 months." So he was all convinced. But then after about 4 months, he called me and said, "I now understand why you went through all those processes yourself." So when I look at Barclays, and whenever I talk to joiners, I always tell them it's an area for opportunity. It's an area where you will not be discriminated, and it really is in your hands to be able to excel. There are quite a number of people I know who have started all the way from BA1 to directors, some we know very well, to MD, and that is something you'll not be able to get very easily in other institutions. So that's from a perspective of the employee. When I go to the side of customers, we are true to ourselves in terms of treating our customers fairly. And whenever I say it, a finance person is supposed to be mean, quote unquote, mean in terms of you're trying to drive productivity, efficiency, etc. But then whenever I look at our TCF, treating customers fairly principles, I see where we overcharge customers, we go, we volunteer, we refund them. Whenever we're changing our pricing, we give them sufficient notice. So there's a lot of work that is working on the background. We need to just make sure that our customers get a fair treatment, which is unique in Barclays. I know quite a number of institutions which will really be driven from a profitability perspective. And then really to conclude on this one is, in terms of whenever you get all these carrots being dangled, come and cross and move to the other side, and I've gotten a share of mine. I'm always thinking about, will I be able to get these kind of opportunities in those other institutions? From a customer perspective, from a staff perspective, all these things that have been said, open door policy, warm, being caring, not just to yourself, but also to the family. And I realize that we can be able to be successful in Barclays. You don't need to be able to go to other places to be able to realize your dreams. And I remember when the deputy CEO for Barclays Africa, this is David Rodney, he came to Kenya, and we had a basket full of excuses. So this is the bad side of Barclays, quote unquote. The ones that we are always complaining, our system is not working. Laban here with his KYC sanctions, he's like curtailing our, competitiveness. So all of those baskets of excuses, he put it in a very simple way for us, which is, I think, something that people need, our colleagues need to know about it. He said, you are in charge. You are the guys in the country, you are in charge. You need to make the difference. And that's what I always look at it every year when, I'm starting a new year, every day when I wake up in the morning. I'm always saying, what is that we need to make a difference? With all these challenges that we're facing, we just need to make the right decision. We are in control. All these things we're saying about systems being over the country, we need to make decisions, make calls that will make this successful. And that is what keeps on driving.
Faith comes by hearing. So guess what has happened? If we do not stop saying these stories, then we will always keep the faith alive.